All right, we should be live. What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday and happy Christmas Eve. What's up? How's everybody doing? Let's see. We've got... Yeah, I should put it over there. Oh, no. The chat, it didn't show who was actually first because I made this go live at like 12 hours ago. Oh, wait. No, it did. Dude Prinny gifted a membership right when the stream notification went live. Gave it to Dominic. It's not showing. But Dominic Joyce got it. First, actually in the house with the comment, though, is Craig Lilly. What's up, Craig? Yeah, what up, Stang? Merry Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. All that good stuff. Because when is New Year? I'm not going to see you guys until... Oh, wait, no. I will. We got Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. I don't know if... I think I can do a New Year's Eve stream, but we'll see. I don't think we have any plans right now. But if we do have plans, then I won't be able to stream. But I think... Given that we have two little girls, I don't think we're going anywhere for New Year's. So we'll see. I will put up a notification for if we do stream on New Year. But yes, Merry Christmas to all and lower computer parts pricing. We will see. What up, Chris? What up, Giant Robots? Hello, Heavy Metal Technology. What up, what up? Jake Dog, Merry Christmas, gang. I hope everyone has a great holidays and a Happy New Year for sure. Stay safe, everybody. Spoil your friends and family. We got Kale 1303 now. Kale 130 in the house. Extreme Zone. Hello. It is going well. We have in-laws this time. Some in-laws from out of town. Thank you, Vicky and Marcus, for helping out tonight with the girls. So, but that means this is going to be a 2 hours strict stream. I got to go 2 hours because, yeah, I can't just leave them with the girls the whole time. That is irresponsible. Stream is broken. It is not broken. It is working. Any last minute Christmas shoppers? I was actually doing some last minute Christmas shopping. I was trying to get one last gift for an in-law, but then I waited too long. And the one-day shipping option went away, and now it's not going to get delivered till Saturday. I was going to get one of my brothers-in-laws a multi-sensor meat thermometer. Any of you guys use one of those? It's one of those things where I feel like a lot of people wouldn't buy it for themselves, but if someone bought it for you, you would use it. It's one of those... Here, I can show you it. I can show you the exact model. Not sponsored, by the way. Let's see. Oh, also, I'm playing around with the green screen. I'm using the NVIDIA GeForce AI thing. It does a decent job for this scene, but not one of these. Not one of these basic thermometers. I feel like a lot of people have these ones, but I got him kind of like one of these ones. Thermal Maven. Yeah, one of these ones. These ones are kind of fancy. They're kind of pricey though this one was on sale. So I got the limited time deal. It's 22% off plus 10% if you buy 2 items. But yeah, this one, basically what you can do is you can stick it into like a big piece of meat. And it measures the temperature throughout the thickness of it. And the ambient as well. So, yeah, one of those things where, like, I would probably never buy one for myself. But if somebody bought me one, I would use it a lot. But that's the extent of my last minute Christmas shopping. Everything else I was able to get kind of on time. What up, Tech Blacksmith? Hello, Indecline. What up, Zontech Ice? New around here. Got into PCs about 4 months now. I might start PC flipping to save up for the future. Ooh, PC flipping with the RAM market right now. I'm very curious. for any of you PC flippers out there that are very more seasoned, because Zontex is a little bit newer to the scene, how are y'all doing now with the RAM prices? I guess if you're still offloading stuff from that you got earlier on in the year before prices went crazy, and you have inventory, it probably is not as bad. But people who are actively buying new components right now, how's that going? Also, what is up? Why is my mic so loud and it's not capping? Give me 1 second. It looks like I'm peaking quite a bit on my mic. I do have a limiter on. Let me know if it's peaking way too much. I might have to just turn it down a little bit. We tried +6 gain. This might be a little better. Mic is high. Okay. Oh my god, why is it peaking still? Let me see. The threshold. Okay, the release. Do you want to load? Okay, we're gonna test this. Wow. Nope. Test 1, 2. How's that release? I need like a hard limiter. How about now? Is that better? Oh, no. It can still peak. I just need to not get excited and yell because, yeah, why is it not just hard capping it? Chris, are you in the house? Can you help me out? I swear I've not touched these settings. I have a 30 millisecond release and a -6 threshold for the limiter. I will try to contain my excitement and my volume. What up, Ant-Man? Can you play Monster Hunter Wilds? 5700G, 9060 XT? Yes, you can. 48 gigs of RAM, 16 gigs? Yes, you can. I feel like people kind of blow out of proportion how badly Monster Hunter Wilds runs. I think they're expecting it to run like, I don't know, Arc Raiders and stuff. It's just, not all games are going to be super well optimized. And I think Monster Hunter Wilds specifically, they've been making improvements on it, but it's just one of those games where you gotta, it was like a console port, right? So as much as PC gamers love high refresh rate and smoothness and stuff like that, I think you gotta kind of just be happy. It's a single player game. Well, I mean, it's multiplayer, but I guess it does have to do with hit boxes and or like timing and stuff. So yeah, higher refresh rate would be ideal, but I mean, this is mainly a console game where I think people have been playing it on 60 FPS longer than anything. No hoodie. I got the hoodie, and then I was like, you know what? Ant-Man's gonna comment that I wore this same exact hoodie last week. I only have so many hoodies to cycle through, and sometimes I wear the same one, 1 week later. But it is pretty warm down here, so I'm going hoodieless tonight. It's already Christmas for Zontex. 1 a.m. JT Bibbins, what up? Why are you streaming on Christmas Eve? So we had one Christmas get together already this past Sunday, and then we're gonna have 2 Christmas get-togethers. Big family, at least on my wife's side. Tomorrow is gonna be a small one with my family in the morning, and then all of her immediate family in the afternoon and evening. And then we had like the big family one this past Sunday, just because that's how the schedule worked out. But Christmas Eve right now is pretty chill. We just have my wife's sister and her husband over because they're visiting in town, and they're getting a chance to play with the girls and stuff like that. So also because I told you guys I was going to stream on Christmas Eve. So I keep my promise. And yes, I wanted to get this because this case was only embargo released for it last Friday. So it hasn't even been a week since this case has been like publicly known to the world. It's not available to buy yet. But hopefully I want to unbox it, take a look at it because I love micro ATX cases. And if you guys have any questions about it, I could show you directly on camera and like hold parts up to it and things like that. Originally, the plan was to do a budget build in it, but trying to procure the parts that did not go according to plan. And yeah, so I figured while it's still hot and fresh, I'll do this, and then I will still plan to do a build in it because it's a seems, and we'll take a look at it throughout the stream. $50 if you want to bring your own fans, 65 for a 4-pack of RGB fans included, pre-routed and everything from Lian Lee. Those are the prices that we would see on like Montech and Okinos and, you know, some of the more budget brands. But from one of the, what I would consider a legacy kind of like big, you know, Lian Lee, they're known for making some pretty high-end cases. I like that they are hitting the budget segment a lot. But yeah, so we will take a look at how the case looks. What up, Jensen? Merry Christmas. Yo, where was that person? So somebody called me out. I wonder if they're in the stream. I'll know once I see their icon. Somebody in one of my YouTube comments called me out when I said come to the stream and hang out and stuff. They said that 99% of the time I only read comments from my moderators or people who donate money. And that kind of pissed me off because that is not the case at all. And for someone to accuse me of that, it clearly shows that they've never been to a stream before. So I called them out and said, if you're saying 99% of the time I do that, I stream weekly, right? Every single week. I barely ever miss a stream. You can go and go to my stream history, right? This would take you less than a minute to do. You can go to my stream live. If you're saying 99, even if it was only 50% of the time, I focus my attention on people who are my moderators or people who donate money to me. You could randomly close your eyes, click on any of these streams. It shouldn't take you more than like 3 seconds to find and prove your point. But I was so confident that I don't do that I called them out and said, you could show me one example of that. And then it was radio silence. So hopefully they got the message that they were full of crap. But they said they will be at the next stream. So they might be lurking in the comments right now. The challenge is still out there. I'm not reading everybody's comments right now just to prove you wrong. Because I would have already done that. But look, I'm telling you. You have literally hundreds of streams. You can go back years even. Feel free to find any segment of these streams where I only talk to people who donate money or are my moderators. I'll put out like $100 bounty. But if I could find adjacent segments of that same stream where I'm reading comments that aren't people who donate money, then that means you're wrong and you don't get the $100 bounty. That's how confident I am that I don't just play favoritism in my streams. My neighbor went full savage, no can opener, so he opened a can of maize soup corn with a knife. Pretty sure some metal shavings made it into the food. Oof. Those old school ones that puncture, you know, the old school can openers? Don't those kind of do the same thing? Yeah, these kinds. I mean, going leaning with a knife versus this, you're just kind of forcing a puncture with metal. I don't know how cleanly this can do it versus a knife. But metal shavings, hopefully it was small enough that it could be passed through the digestive system. Bluetooth thermometers are good for smoking meats and cooking chicken. I would say if you're pretty particular about your steaks too, especially thick steaks, it could be useful for that too. Yeah. What up, it's just me, Scott. Hello, everyone. Happy holidays to you all. Hope Santa has you on the good list. I've opened a very few number of presents at the previous Christmas get-together, but tomorrow is where the majority of presents are going to be opening. So I don't know what I got for Christmas yet. Who remembers the LAN party brand? What is that? Like, there's a computer case something called LAN party, like PC hardware? Jensen says, I'm not a moderator and I've never donated to you, even though I would like to donate to you, but you honestly are one of the best streamers because you care about everyone's opinions and thoughts. I try. I do understand that person. Maybe they had commented previously, and I didn't catch it, but I miss tons of comments. There's no way I can read everybody's comments and still do what I need to do on the stream. So it's just kind of like a random luck thing. Like if I read your comment, then good. If I don't, then of course, when people donate, I get like a big pop-up on the screen, so it's easier to read those ones. But yeah, like for normal comments, I try to get through the best as I can. For some reason, I only heard of Lian Li recently for the first time. Are they a good brand? Yes. Lian Li is a very reputable brand. I think in terms of like everything that they make. Obviously, for parts like the power supply, and maybe probably some AIOs, they might have some hit or miss products. But in general, Lian Li, I would say, is in good standing with the PC building community, and they are generally pretty highly like well regarded. They, people don't know them as like a brand that messes up all the time. I don't recall if they ever had like huge community drama. And their products, I feel like a lot of people probably blindly buy Lian Li products because of the brand name. Expecting to get a pretty high quality product. And I think it's for the most part true. I am just normal. Yes, I think when you guys ask me thought-provoking questions or funny ones and stuff, those catch my eye too. So that's a way to get your comments read more. Though sometimes if it gets too inappropriate, I will skip it. LAN Party used to make motherboards? Let me see this. LAN Party motherboards, primarily from the brand DFI, were legendary enthusiast boards from the mid-2000s. DFI LAN Party. But the company was DFI, right? And LAN Party. So that's not... I wouldn't call that the brand. I would call that more of the model from the brand DFI, right? Or was there actually a company also called LAN Party? But it looks like they were a line of products from DFI, which seems... Let's look up DFI. Let's see if Wikipedia has anything... Like, did they get acquired? Diamond Flowers Inc. is a Taiwanese... Okay. Founded 44 years ago. They're still around, it looks like. What are they doing these days? DFI's process were transformed to sole proprietorship. Okay. 2012, they were still making ITX board. Oh, they're making more like kind of like industry or like a specific, like non-consumer. Release Qualcomm based, Qualcomm based motherboards, medical. So it looks like they pivoted to like away from the consumer space and more into like the professional sector. Huh. Yeah, I don't think I've ever used a DFI motherboard. UV reactive features. You mean like the color? Like when you hold it under a black light, it looks super cool. How long are we going to take out the case? Okay, it's been 20 minutes. Right now, actually. Usually we chill at the beginning of stream just to let people have time to get to the stream. Not everyone makes it right in at the beginning, but we can start unboxing it right now, actually. So let me show you that scene and we'll get right into it. Has anyone... So we're actually going to unbox they sent me an RB750. They have a 550, 650, and 750. So these are kind of like, I wouldn't say super entry level. There's seats here on the PSU tier list if you care about that. Just based on speculation of the internal components without, actual testing. But if you can see from the picture, they did try to do something innovative with it with regards to these organization straps. So we're going to take a look at this too. But yeah, these are pretty reasonably priced power supplies, which I'm always down for. We need more like $60, $70 power supplies. I don't need them to be like A tier on all of them. For the people who are more on a budget, we need stuff that's reliable, that won't burn people's house down and blow up their systems. And I think this is what this is. And it's ATX 3.1 ready. So it's got like the new connectors and all that, semi-modular. So we'll open that up as well. But here is the case. Have you guys been seeing videos on these? Should have started popping up within the last week, because the embargo lift was on Friday. So you guys might be familiar with the V100 non-mini, which is a mid-tower, which looks very similar to this except taller. So what are people saying in the comments? Lian is also expensive where I've seen. Yes. So Lian, I would say their products are not the cheapest typically, but for them to release this, and I'll pull up the product page. So here's the two versions that I was talking about, right? We've got, if you want to bring your own fans and, or you're going to put a radiator on it and all that stuff and you don't need fans, $50 for, and the Vector was a pretty well received case. Like people like the full size Vector. So I don't see any reason why people wouldn't like the Vector V100, why they wouldn't like the V100 Mini. If anything, I like it more based on just the form factor alone, if everything else stays the same. But then the version that I'm opening up is the V100R, which does have, for 15 extra bucks, you're getting 4 pre-installed, pre-routed cable, adjustable RGB fans with the Lian logo. So if you care about it matching brand fans to case, for another $15, that's less than $4 a fan, a little bit less than $4 a fan. And that's like on the level of Thermalright value, right? Thermalright fans are 3-packs are what, like $12, so $4 a fan. So yeah, I think for people who are trying to either flip PCs or build budget systems and save money, you just get the $65 one. And this is only up for pre-order. It actually does not release until, you can see right here, January 2nd. So we're going to take a look at it, and you guys can ask me any questions and I'll try to help answer it with it in front of us. Like with regards to like measurements and all that stuff, I could slap like a big graphics card in here to see if like what the length is and what will fit. So let me make sure to get, hey, what's up, XB or X Backdoor? All my RGB fans are Lian Lee, says JG Wright. What are your thoughts on all the handheld gaming pieces coming out these days, including the ones with the AI Max 395s? I mean, I think handheld is a very like specific market. I am personally not a person that's in the market for handhelds, but I think it's great. Being able to being able to access your Steam library or whatever you play on, whether it be Epic Games Library or what's it called, good old games or any of those. I think it's great. You have more options to play the stuff that you've already bought years ago, right? That was always one of my like pros that I always talk about when it comes to PC gaming. Like people are still playing Half-Life 2 and Team Fortress and whatever games that they bought like 20 years ago or nearly 20 years ago. They can still run them on the system they just built yesterday. Whereas a lot of people, when you play like console and you collect older console games, not everything is backwards compatible and all that stuff. And it's not cross-platform. So like if you bought an Xbox game, but now you're on the newest PlayStation, you can't play that. Whereas like anything you bought on whatever PC, whatever hardware you had back in the day, is still playable now. So yeah, so with regards to the handhelds, I think it's a awesome thing that there's more options. More options drives competition, drives prices down. So yeah, that's a good thing. Though I don't know what the cheapest handheld is. Probably like a used Steam Deck. You can get those for like $300. But more budget options is what I'll always go for. All right, so let's get this thing open. What I like about Lian too, a lot of the times, is oh, it's kind of like a mix. So you've got two kinds of foam in here, right? So they do have this, some of this stuff, which is the foam that compresses. So this is like the nice stuff. But then they also have the foam that does not compress and that flakes when you break it. So I need to be careful not to like break this while taking it out. But I thought I've seen some budget brands use all like of the nice compressive stuff. I always like that stuff for repacking and reusing because you can cut off pieces and you know, pack other stuff with it. All right, so here's the case itself. Oh, they gave us a screw box. Dude, I have so many of these things I just use for whatever the heck knickknacks. But I always appreciate companies giving, especially like from a environmental standpoint too, like reusable containers and bags and stuff like that. So let me take this out. Ooh. I've actually never built in the V100 normal, so this is me seeing just any V100 case for the first time. But yeah, this is the top grill right here. I'm sure this pops off. So you got this here. Let me try to get an angle on it. But you see, it's like it's got some pretty deep grooves. And here is does this filter just, nope, so this is attached. So you just pop this off all at the same time to go and clean it. But I kind of like, this is plastic. So this top panel is plastic. It's not metal. Pop that back on. Let's lay the case down and open up this side panel. And then I'll get size comparison. So I like this already. So single screw in the back. I'm a fan of less thumb screws, the better. I mean, you could probably just completely remove this because this just pops out. So again, another design that I like a lot. These kind of like these ball sockets. I still struggle to like describe, like, I don't know what the actual name of this is in other like industries, like, but whatever these press fit ball socket things are that, you know, you just place it on like this, you pop, and then boom, it sticks on. So just one thumb screw for you to secure it when you're moving it, but then you could just take that off if you want and go thumb screwless. Yeah. The toolless design I'm always a fan of, and Lian, of course, it's nice to see them also apply it to even a $50 case. So we'll put this on the side. That slope would be... What up, Jason? Some tech decks. Do we have anything tech deck worthy? Let me see. Yeah, you can do some, like, whatever on it. I'm sure you could probably be pretty creative, too, with how you, like, put decorations on here. Okay, so let's take a look at some other features now that this is open. Oh, yes. All right. We've got built-in GPU sag brackets. Again, seeing this on a $50 case. Well, this one's $65 because the fans are included. Oh, what? And reverse blade? So yeah, you might as well just get the version with the fans installed because they already set you up with reverse blade fans. Unless you're going for like a super specific aesthetic and you don't like, illuminated fan blades. But yeah, wow, they've got that covered. So reverse fan blades on the intake on the side here. And then on the exhaust, just the normal orientation. Yeah, and we've got the built-in GPU sag bracket, which is always a plus. Because you can always remove it if you, for whatever reason, don't need it. Like if you have a tiny graphics card that doesn't reach. But, yeah, they're just like... Because a lot of people would otherwise have to buy like a sag stick or use a Funko Pop. I don't know. But yeah, Always appreciate it when cases, you know, give you reusable containers like this. I love these. I just put all my extra screws and have little emergency screw packs for like LAN party or just whatever. I could probably eventually use these to like hold beads for the girls when they get into like making jewelry with beads and stuff. I don't know. But always a nice touch there, even though it's not a part of the case itself. Okay, let's see. Does this front panel, I think it should, yep, it pops off. I just want to be careful. Oh, there it is. So front panel also pops off. Again, similar ball socket design. Pops in, pops out. So very nice to see that there. Let me make sure I'm reading the chat too. This is micro ATX. So this is a micro ATX case. I will compare. Let me see if I have another micro ATX case to compare it to in a second once we look through at least the physical aspect of it. So for this one, how particular are you guys when it comes to where the front IO is? So this one, so here's the front, right? I mean, for IO for PC cases, it can be all over the place. Some company or some cases, you know, they put them on like the front here. Some put it right here. Some have it on the front on this side. So they've gone with following the slope here, and it actually is kind of diagonally here. So I'm not gonna like dock points for that with regards to my own personal preferences, but if I had it my way, I would probably have just made it flat, because if you look at it, now you're inserting everything at an angle, right? Like, I'm going to try to get this as level as possible. Do I have a, like, where's my, oh my God, how can I not find a USB cord laying around anywhere? Sure, we'll use this Wise camera one. But yeah, if you look at it, right, I don't know, something about, I guess it's not the end of the world, but you are essentially inserting all of the ports except for the headphone jack, because that's just a circle. But you're inserting them all at an angle, kind of. What is that? Like 30 degree angle or something? Whatever the angle is. It doesn't go in like straight horizontal or vertical. It's kind of offset, which I don't know. Like, I get the aesthetic they were going for, making it line up with the ramp, but you could have also lined it up with the bottom edge, right? You could have lined up with the bottom edge and just had it straight across. But that's just me nitpicking. Obviously, at the end of the day, that's not like a huge deal, unless, I don't know. I guess you would have to use it on a daily basis to see like if that kind of gets annoying, trying to have to like get it in at an angle. The person that designed the case was drunk when he designed it. You have tons of possible issues there depending on where you put it. I think it just depends. You just have to retrain yourself if you do end up plugging a lot of things in the front. Because I think naturally, whenever, especially since when you plug stuff behind your motherboard, like we naturally, instinctually plug things at like the 90 degree orientations. We're not trained to do it at an angle, but actually... So, question for the chat. Do any of you out there have the normal V100 non-mini, like the mid-size tower one? And if so, I would assume that most people would say like, oh, it's not a big deal. You just get used to it. But yeah, that is kind of odd. The USB ports at an angle. I personally use the rear motherboard ports for most things. I use the rear for most... actually, you guys can see exactly what I use. I can show you right now. I think. If this works. But yeah. Of course, it's going to freeze. Come on. Why are you being so bad right now? But as you can see... so my desk always has a bunch of crap on it. But... I do use the USB-A and USB-C on my own desk right there. So I do use the front ports, but it just depends on, you know, your own personal preferences and use case. All right, so let's go look at. I did not pop that back on the way. That was on me. That was on Lian Lee. Dropping top panels. But yeah, so let me go to the back side. Let's see how much room. Ooh, okay, so we've got a couple of things going on here. We do have the intake, you know, perforated right here for the fans, which is nice. And then we also have, let's see, pop this off. So on this side, there is no screw. So it has that little dimple or slot for your finger to pull this out. And we've got the case, which I would say not the thickest panel. I wish I had calipers on me. But also not the thinnest panel either. I've used thinner, you know, from like really budget bin cases. But this is as expected for about a $50 case. There's thinner stuff when you go to like the $30, $40 super cheapo cases, like from DIY PC. But this is definitely not as thick as what you would typically find from Lian Li or Corsair or, you know, those companies in their like $100 plus case ranges. So it's a little thin, but not problematically thin in terms of like flex and stuff. So here is the back, and dang, look at how open this is. So this case, as you can see from all these holes, this is compatible for the people who are looking for the very clean, you know, no front connector, like Project Zero back connect motherboard system. So that's why when we look at it here, there's a lot more holes than usual. We don't have grommeted cable holes, which I don't know how strongly people feel about that, but I mean, for the value that we get with the fans and just the entire case itself, I'm not going to complain too much. Plus black on black, you don't really see it that much. So in terms of the way that the case is designed is you have no space for cable management obviously here, because that's, you know, you don't want any obstruction for the fans. But you do have it recessed after the fans, so it dips down, goes across. And let me measure how much room we have back here, you know, to like stuff cables and all that. Let me get a ruler and see what this back panel depth is. Oh, do I have one with centimeters on it? Yes, I do. So we look back here, an inch. Let me show on the camera if this will go. So yeah, we look here, you see it's an inch of depth, or an inch is 2.54. Oh my god, the light. I chose the worst angle. How about this one? I don't know why my phone's being so laggy today. Am I on the Wi-Fi? But yeah, it is. Let me recheck my Wi-Fi. Yeah, I am on it. Why are you being so bad right now? But you get an inch, which there are cases that give you more space than that, but I feel like an inch is a pretty solid, like, you know, depth. As long as it, like, let me see. You can't really, I guess you can kind of see how deep it is, right? I don't think the average person is going to have any problems stuffing cables here, because if you have any hubs or anything like that, you can go right into this power supply basement, which I'm going to populate next. Let me look at what you guys are saying first, though. Is there a white version of this case? I could have sworn. Let me take a look. I'm pretty sure there is. Let's see. White. Oh no, is there not? No, so in the product briefing that I got, I thought... Let me take a look at the emails real quick. Did they give me a color choice, or am I? The PSU sent in black. Oh no, the power supply also comes in white, so that's what they gave me the choice. But the case itself, it looks like there's only a black option. So yeah, does the V100 have a white option? Let me take a look at this. Was there a white one? Yeah, they do have a white one. I wonder if they're gonna come up with, yeah. So it's essentially this case. I'm curious, and this one's pretty like budgety too. And it's back ordered. Wow. I forgot when that one came out though. But the mid tower version is a little bit more because it's a bigger case, more materials. But it's $15 more, but it still has the same configuration if you buy it popularly with fans. So that one is white. The black one is $60 for the mid tower, but yeah, I much prefer micro ATX whenever possible. Grommets just pop out anyway, no biggie. Yeah, most grommets, like when you pop stuff in and out of them, they always like fall out and you have to like replace them. They can kind of get annoying. I wish companies found a better way to like put lips or something on the grommets so that they grab onto the case, so that you really have to like force them out or like, pop them out of a notch. Because yeah, a lot of the grommets don't hold well at all in cases. An inch is perfectly average, right? Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's the girth that matters, you guys. I think most people would have a hard time building. In this case, I don't think so. And Jordies, were you here from the beginning? You did come to the stream. You did come to the stream. You actually did, after calling me out incorrectly, by the way. Honestly, I was thinking to get rid of my case and just use an open case. The only thing with open cases, if you have pets, they might get into it, like stick their paw or their face into it. If you don't have pets, you might accidentally, I don't know, like trip with a cup of water and like, spill. Like, the case is there to protect your parts, right? It's to enclose it, still give it airflow, but to, for the most part, protect it so that things won't just fly into any of the moving portions like the fans and all that stuff. So, yeah. Jordy, I disproved your comments many a times in every single stream ever. The comment was never like proven true ever, I promise you. Let's see. Merry Christmas, Pete Dunn. Merry Christmas. How can y'all think that dirt? What? How can you think that dirt on Christmas Eve? I might have to order the white one. Looks amazing. Would fit for my. Yeah, you could put the white one. You would have to have a mid tower with the micro ATX motherboard. But yeah, no open liquids near the computer if you do have an open case. I don't know. With an open case, I feel like, especially for me, you guys just saw the tangle mess of wires, right, that I have because I've got like all these lights, microphones, cameras and stuff. Like, it would be very easy for a loose wire to just make its way into a fan or something and like, just get caught. So if you have a relatively clean setup that doesn't like move or change around a lot, then yeah, open case probably would work for you. But I've never run in my own personal setup an open test bench style case. I have that for like my testing purposes on the side, but for my own personal build, I'm always enclosed. So, dude, I have to blow out my system every 3 months or so. They are caked with dust. An open case would be awful. Well, the open case would also make it so that you don't have to remove panels. You literally just lift it up, take it outside, blow it off, and bring it back in without having to deal with, because when you blow into an enclosed case, the dust kind of just floats around for a bit. Like, you have to work it out of the case unless you vacuum, but people don't recommend vacuuming, even though ESD, I've never had it be a problem. I've seen plenty of people vacuum their cases just fine. It's one of those things that's like a perpetuated, kind of like almost a myth. Like, if you vacuum your PC 99.9% of the time, it's going to be fine. People have tried to kill their PC doing that and have been unsuccessful. So okay, so that's pretty much the case. I mean, do they even have this on? Let me check their website just so that you guys. So I have links for this down below. It'll have like all the basic information on the Amazon listing, but let me look on their official website for in case you want to look for yourself. Yeah, so they have this here, and it has all the things it could fit, like the radiator either on the side or the top. For a mini case, this could actually fit a decent amount of stuff, right? So you got 360 radiator up top. You can do, you cannot do radiator on the side. You can do a 240 because of that slant, it looks like. But you could go up top, 360, total thickness of 65 millimeters. Or you can go 280 as well. There are fans for the bottom, which are not currently populated, but I don't know if they're really necessary. I mean, this case will have plenty of airflow with just populating the main chamber. I run case. Oh, okay. So you run your case with no side panel on. It's open but still mostly enclosed. Okay, so kind of like a hybrid approach. Yeah. So I mean, I would imagine people getting this is gonna put micro ATX. I don't know why, unless you already had an ITX board. Why would you pay a premium to like slap it in a case that's like a little bit oversized for it? But it does support it, just because it's smaller. And then it does have, let me see how Northwood is with it off. It does have a RGB strip. Yes, it does have it down here. If you want like that slight accent, right? This strip right here. It's got a very slight accent to it. But let's open up the power supply next. So there's the case. I'll put a motherboard, like I have. This is not the motherboard I was going to use for the build for it, but this is a motherboard I grabbed off my shelf. This is a Skylake. I think it's a 6600K. It's a Z170. So very old hardware. I don't even have RAM in here because RAM right now is, pretty hard to get. And I don't have like extra to put into a system like this. But in terms of like building space in here, let me move this down so you can see a little better. So if you populated this with a motherboard, there is plenty of room up top, especially with no fans populated. And with most mid-range systems, you wouldn't need any more fans than what is here. I think this could easily cool any system that's like, especially given right now's RAM economy. If you're building a system like $1,500 or less, spending only $50 on a case saves you so much money to put elsewhere. But this will be perfectly sufficient to cool parts up to, I think, like a 9070, even 9070 XT pretty easily, with whatever, processor you pair with it, without much issue. Like, this is not a hot box by any means. Just, you got, this will blow air, out of the top as well, naturally, just due to being more, positive pressure. So, but yeah, there's like plenty of space all around it to like build. Cables are not coming through the motherboard tray for the bottom here. It's coming through this power supply basement. If I looked at an angle here, you can't really see it because it's kind of dark, but yeah. Cable routing would be very easy on this case. Yeah, I'm a big fan of cases. You see these holes down here? Cases that give you these holes and don't expect you to run stuff on the tray down here. These holes are there for the behind the motherboard connectors if you have a special motherboard. But I hate cases that don't give you holes on the basement and force you to route through back here because it's usually a very tight fit when you maximize the motherboard. But let's take a look at this power supply. These came out only like a month or two ago. Let me see. In the UK, the white case costs 80 pounds, the US dollars is 107.97. Ooh, that is a little bit pricier. It is pretty cheap in the US. I really wish crypto was still a thing. Hardware prices didn't matter when you could just mine off your Vega. How do we make money now? I mean, you could quote unquote invest in crypto. Like if you buy right now, Bitcoin is like at what? It's like under 90, right? This is not investment advice, by the way. Look at this. Bitcoin is at $87,000 right now. What was the all-time high? Like 100 something. Let me see, year to date. The highest it hit 123. It's got to at least go back to 100,000 at some point in the future, right? So you could make some gains there, but it might take a while. This is not financial or investment advice, but in terms of the crypto space, the whole mining thing, I don't know. You were saying you could just mine on Vega or Ryzen for a few weeks and pay for the hardware, but that was also when graphics cards, if you wanted to get a new one, were also super inflated just because of everyone was buying them up and scalping them. So I don't know if we want that to come back around. So let's take a look at this power supply. So SPL tier list. This is with limited confidence. So there has not been, I don't believe Aorus from Hardware Busters / Cybernetics Lab has looked at this yet, because if you look up like when it was announced, it was like literally 2 months ago. So this is brand new. Let's take a look at the pricing on this, because I know, where's Amazon? Where's the Amazon? So yeah, if we look at the tier list, shout out to SPL, by the way. RB Bronze right here. So you got your 550, 650, and 750. It's a C, but they're not sure of what the primary, and then, come on. And for the rectification is, there's no internal shots. So maybe if I can if I open this up and send a picture to them, they can dial it down more. So right now it's a C, but it could potentially be higher. What's up?
Do you want to put in the order?
Oh, for the pizza?
Yeah.
I can, yeah.
That's part of your live stream.
Yes, we can order pizza on my live stream. What do you want? You want to text me it?
Yeah.
All right, we might have to do a quick Domino's order real quick, guys, on stream. Though I need to be very careful not to dox myself. Let me finish this thought, though. But yeah, so PSU tier list, this thing is C for now. It could be potentially C+. I would assume it's not going to be like complete garbage on the inside, given that it's from Lian Li. But they have had... Why did they have an F tier? Usually when things get F tier, I've noticed that a lot of the times, like, it's not that the unit necessarily was bad. It might have been like the unit that was sent for review happened to be like a bad unit, but the design, this one has fatal design flaw that causes a next cap to melt under 100 vac, potential fire hazard. 2 samples died during LTT lab testing. Okay, so maybe this one is actually bad, but Lian Li, for the most part, besides this one, I wonder if they ever addressed it. Lian Li customer support claimed on Reddit on March 2025 that the design flaw revealed by Aorus in a review only affected pre-production. So yeah, the tier list is very nice for this, because even when you need to look at the tier list more than the letters, because they have annotations, everything in here. So this claim has yet to be independently verified. Yeah, probably because he's so busy reviewing so many other units. But I would imagine that if Lian Li, from their internal testing, said it's not a problem, enough for them to not, do a fix because it was a one-off. Interesting. So yeah, aside from like this one, they don't really have many units that are like kind of crap tier. So that's for the people who go off of brand loyalty. This is kind of like a cheaper option. But let me take a look at the price on Amazon. I do have it. Surely there's a better way. So the old not the old tier list, but the other tier list. So PhD tier list, the cultist one. So the cultist tier list used to be just this, and I don't know if this version is better because they literally didn't give you any other information. You would have had to click on the spreadsheet itself. Like they had their own spreadsheet that kind of did a similar thing because the SPL tier list is they kind of work based off of this and try to improve it. But I mean, for this one of the reasons they do it is you cannot copy and paste. They've locked this spreadsheet. I guess you can save a copy, right? Oh, you can't even... Can you save a copy? Let me do it on my logged in Google account. I think what they try to do is make it so that people cannot copy the new... Yeah, I can't save this. Can I copy... let me see. I think what they've done is they've locked this down. Copy and pasting content outside this file has been disabled. So yeah, essentially, the reason it seems, well, one, the spreadsheet can get you a lot more information, right? Like you scroll across and you can find everything about the specs and any of the notes that they have. But also in Google Docs, they're able to lock it down so that people can't copy this and try to like plagiarize essentially. Which, I mean, given how much work that they put into this thing, it seems kind of reasonable. Yeah, they don't want someone to pull the data directly off the website. Well, I mean, if they unlocked it, I would imagine other tech news outlets or publications might just copy and paste everything to their website so that they can drive viewers there and get ad money and all that stuff. Like this Google Docs, there is no ads on it, right? Like if you were to go to even Tech Power Up, which we love, Tech Power Up has ads and stuff on the side and not pop-ups. I don't know if they have pop-ups because I run a pop-up blogger. But there is ads on like almost any other website you go to. On the Google Docs, I would say at least one thing is that you're not met with ads. They say they run affiliate links. Like if you look down here, they say something about, yeah, the affiliate links included. I don't even see any affiliate links though. Actually, they have affiliate links, but oh wait, what happened? Yeah, they have affiliate links, but like if you look at it, only these blue ones are their affiliate links. The majority of stuff in here, I would say more than half of them aren't even like affiliately linked. So, and I'm okay with them having affiliate links because they do take the time to put this together and they're only making like a small chunk of change back given how many people thoroughly work on this. So like I don't mind them having that, but at least they don't have intrusive ads, right? Yeah. There is probably a way if you Google how to make unsavable / uncopyable Google Docs copyable, there's probably workarounds around it, right? But just for the majority of people, they want to kind of keep it locked down. But okay, so we're gonna get to it. Sorry, the in-laws are hungry. Let's go to Domino's. What do they want? Let's judge their pizza order. We're gonna do. Shoot, are we doing carry out? We better do carry out. Let me call Melissa. Hello.
Yes.
Are we doing carry out or are we picking up?
Pick up.
Pick up. Okay. All right. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
just let us know location and stuff. I'm watching your stream right now, so let us know when it's ready.
Okay. All right. Love you. Bye.
Okay. Well, bye.
All right. Let's take a look at the order. We've got pepperoni pineapple. Oh my God, these people. Here, let me. I mean, it doesn't matter what store, I guess, because you guys already know what city I live in. I just need to make sure my information and my credit card number doesn't pop up. We're doing live pizza ordering. These streams can go in any direction. Pineapple does not belong in everything. Wrong. That is so wrong. But I'm not going to eat that pizza, so that's okay. We're going to order now. In-store pickup. Okay. What do we got? We're going to do... So they want a stuffed crust. Where them deals at? Deals. We're gonna do the $6.99 two topping, I think, or is it $7.99 now? Domino's be upping their prices over the years. You guys are getting the pizza ordering. Okay, 2 or more to this one. $6.99 each. Not bad. This Domino's too, I think they pay their employees fair wages because they do not have a tip screen. Like when you buy online or when you buy in store and you pay, a tip screen does not pop up. Which I don't know how you guys feel about tipping on a pickup, because some people, like when they order takeout, they don't tip, or they tip less or whatever, right? But the fact that it doesn't even pop up, that's I think is indicative of the owner or this franchise owner paying the employees fair wages, hopefully anyways. So we're gonna add item. What are we doing here? Build your own pizza. What? You have to, I mean, do you have to tip for pickup? If it pops up on the screen, you're probably more guilt tripped into doing it. But I'm saying at this location, they don't even have that as an option. So I appreciate that. And I hope that means that they pay their employee fair wages. Okay, we're doing stuffed crust, which to me is crazy, right? Like the pizza itself, like the whole pizza with all the dough and the toppings, the cheese, tomato sauce, and the 2 toppings you get to choose. It's only $7. Proportionally, $7 just to get some stuffed Parmesan into the crust. You're paying for more than half of a pizza for that little bit amount. But today we're balling on a budget, so at the end of the day, it's still only $11 pizza. Still really pretty good value. So we're gonna get that. And then is that what they want? Pepperoni and mushroom. Oh my goodness, these people. Pepperoni and mushroom and pepperoni and pineapple. Probably pineapple and mushroom. Probably my least, and olives are like probably my least favorite toppings on a pizza. Hell no, you don't tip on pickup. The whole tip on pickup thing, it depends, right, on what type of restaurant. I think some people, I can see why they don't want to tip to like a big chain like Domino's, but maybe to like a mom and pop local joint that's not like a national chain or franchise, thing. Tipping just to keep your local economy going and local businesses thriving might be a little bit more, make more sense. Okay, so we're doing this. Wait, so the pineapple one's gonna have the stuffed crust, but the mushroom one doesn't. Okay, we're good on this. Add to deal. When I pay with card, I just tip in cash. If I'm ordering standing up or online, I'm not tipping, in my opinion. That's one way to do it. Yeah, only when you're at sit-down restaurants. I'm gonna add another item. So this one is gonna be pepperoni and mushroom. No stuffed crust. Add to deal. No. And then you guys know what my go-to is, right? For the people who watch LAN Party Stories, in the chat, what is my go-to? Let's see how well you guys know me. We're gonna add one more. I'm not done with this deal. Add another item. Yes, let me tip you on top of my gas for picking up my own food. Well, it's the thing, because like tip doesn't just go to the wait staff, right? It also goes to the kitchen staff, like the cooks and stuff. So I feel like even though you're not sitting down in a restaurant, the food is still being made, prepared, and packed. And I understand, like, in this economy, everything is more expensive. It kind of just sucks. It's just one of those things where it's like, do you like this joint enough or like this restaurant enough that you want to see it not closed down? And how much are you willing to, like, throw them a bone? But I do agree with you. I feel like all restaurant workers should just be paid a fair wage where they shouldn't rely on tips. But that's just not how it works in the US. Order a honey mustard pizza, meatball, pep jalapeno. It sucks that they have to rely on tips. I just hate that. Like, we just need to put laws in place and vote it in or whatever. Though I will say, I have seen a lot of restaurant workers who, like, given the choice, they would not vote for their own interests in getting rid of the whole tipping culture. There are a lot of restaurant workers and people who work in high-end restaurants particularly, they want to keep the tipping system because they make so much with tips, well above like the minimum wage or like average wage and stuff like that. So there are some people in the industry who vote against increasing their wage in favor of keeping tips. But then I'm like, then you can't complain when people cheap out and don't tip you. Like, you can't have both. You can either guarantee or take the gamble of the tips. You know what I'm saying? But Pizza Wars invade the stream, exactly. My dad made double salary by tips by working in one of the best restaurants in Florence. Yeah, I mean, those are the people who like much prefer the tips. Even when they don't get tip, it still averages out that they come out ahead. He does pepperoni and jalapeno. Arc Druid, you got it. That is my go-to order. Pepperoni and jalapeno. Though sometimes I change it up with Italian sausage. I might do that tonight. So anyone who guessed pepperoni jalapeno, I saw people who did guess it. That is correct. But sometimes we change it up. Because the pepperoni and the jalapeno, they both have a little bit of spice kick to them. Let's go with the Italian sausage to change it up a little bit. Still very similar order though. All right, add to the deal. Got it. Let's go. Okay, this is the part where where's the cart? Where's my cart? Done with this deal. $2.99. This is always a good buy. These Parmesan bread bites are delicious. For only $3 more, we always get that. It's just a little bit more food on top of it for like only a few bucks. Let's check out. Confirm your selection. Yep, we got everything. We'll get a couple of the. We'll get two of these garlic dipping cups. My favorite. Pick up from that store. How is it $33? Did that work out to $33? Let me look at the thing. Do I want to donate? Not today. I'm sorry. Did I just do that on stream on Christmas Eve, guys? What is the threshold for how much you donate? Because you get that pop up at the grocery stores too, and like all throughout the holiday seasons. Like if you've already donated previously, what is the cooldown until you donate again? You know. Also, I like donating to Children's Hospital because the girls are currently going there, and I went there when I was a kid. St. Jude's is cool. I've donated to them in the past though and stuff, but more recently I've donated when I got the prompt to Children's Hospital. Mine is once a year. That's your cooldown. Wait, how does this work out? Is it okay? Tax is $3 because 10% more than 10% tax in Washington. 29. So let me do the math in my head. $11 pizza plus 14. Yeah, okay, that works out. 33 for 3 pizzas and some Parmesan bites. Just because of tax. Okay. Donate there. I mean, I don't think Domino's would be able to get away with taking donation money and not, like, I think they're too big of a corporation to do that. Okay, so I'm going to log in now. So I need to make sure I don't change my screen. Oh, what is my password? Keep me signed in. We're good. Crap. Do I have a credit card on file? I do. Okay. Place order. There would have been lawsuits if Domino's took it for themselves. Yeah. I think like for some of these mega corporations, I don't think they would be able to get away with it. Especially if St. Jude is like partnering with them. Like they would probably, you know, want to make sure they get get the donations and not let that slide. Okay, make sure your store. Okay, so now we are good. No personal information. Now we've got the Domino's tracker, so it should be ready in like 10 minutes. Domino's is so fast. Do I use credit card for everything? For the most part, actually no. Credit card / PayPal. If a website we'll take PayPal. If there's like no particular rewards or something, I'll sometimes just pay with PayPal, cause I don't always save my credit card information to particular websites, and then I don't remember my credit card number and the 3-digit security code off the top of my head, but I remember my email and password for my PayPal account. So I often pay with PayPal just out of convenience. Costco pizza is $9.99. I'm gonna say it. I like Domino's pizza. If price was not a factor, I would pick Domino's over Costco. Costco needs to bring back the Supreme because only pepperoni and cheese, where I live anyways, is getting tiring. I want a little bit more toppings than that. But even with that, I just think the crust is better flavored at Domino's than Costco. Costco is the value play. You get the most calories per dollar spent, but Domino's is not that much more expensive. Also having to deal with going to the Costco where it's super crowded and the parking lot is hectic this time of the year. Imagine going to Costco on Christmas Eve. I don't even know if they're open on Christmas Eve. I feel like they're a company that would be closed because they treat their employees well. But imagine going to Costco. We went this week. It was not a fun place to go to because of how crazy busy Costco gets around the holiday season. So yeah, just that alone, I would not want to go pick up pizza at Costco. But does Nick still say Pizza Hut's better? I think, yeah, him and James still like it better. Oh, yeah, it was combo. Sorry, it was not Supreme. It was combo, which to me, in my book, is like almost the same thing. What's the difference between combo, like the bell peppers or something? But yeah. You are the dust man. If that pizza arrives before the stream ends, I will show you the bottom and how dust-free it is. But okay, let's get back to unboxing this. Sorry, we got so off track. But this is going to be the unboxing experience for the Lian RB750. Oh, I was supposed to look at the price. Sorry, we're all over the place. I got distracted by pizza. But in terms of the pricing, I think for a 750 watt power supply that is C tier or above, regular price, because this is still brand new, you know, these are eventually probably going to go on sale and have discounts. $70 is about right where we're at. If you're looking at like the MSI Mag Bronze series or anything else that is around like the C tier with regards to the build quality and internal components, some companies for 650 watts they go for 70. So I am a fan of Lian kind of trying to get some market share in the budget segment. Always good to have options because if one power supply isn't on sale, you can look at another similar one and hope to pick something up that's on sale. So for a base price of $70, I'm not mad at it. Power supply prices have gone up over the years. The days of finding decent power supplies for like $40, $50 are kind of long gone. The only time you'll find that now is like on Prime Week or Black Friday. Like right now, it's not of my head. I know some of you guys are super deal hunters out there and flippers. Like, if you needed 750 watts, what is your go-to for at least C tier or above to throw in a build to be flipped? Am I the only one seeing a swastika in the PSU fan opening? You might be the only one. That looks nothing like a swastika to me. Like, I'm not seeing it at all. Yeah. I'm not seeing it. It just looks like when you fold a box doing that, you know, thing and you close it in on itself. That's what it looks like to me. I'm not seeing swastika vibes. I can kind of get why you see it because it has like the lines kind of at 90 degrees, but yeah, not really. Costco pizza is definitely just blah. I'm watching on TV so that... Oh, you're watching it on TV so that you can add more money. Can you get a slice? Sure, I'll ship you a slice. Cooler Master, and Cooler Master, their budget range is pretty good right now. They go on sale quite a bit, especially during those weeks that I was talking about. Yeah, I don't even know what's going on with EVGA right now. Like, are they still releasing power supplies? I don't think I've seen a new release from them, and ever since they've kind of announced that they've quit the GPU market. I know people hate Thermaltake power supplies, but has anyone tried the Tough series? Yeah, they're Tough. Which one is it? The G? Let me see. Thermaltake. Again, I feel like people are pretty... they're pretty harsh when it comes to like their minimum requirement. Like the Tough Power, they've got a number of things that are like, you know, decent quality. I think the GF one, that one for a while was a pretty good buy. Yeah, that came out in 2021. The only issue a lot of the times with the tier list and power supplies in general is that the companies are constantly like making new variants and like slightly different, like they'll change the model name by like one number or one letter. So like a lot of the times the tier list, like for any of these things that came out in like 2017, 2019, 2021, you might not even be able to find them available to buy at a reasonable price anymore because they've discontinued the line after only like a few years. And then they're making the next thing now. And then that has to be reviewed before it can be placed on here. So yeah, that's the only thing to be wary about with regards to getting like older stuff. But yeah, Thermaltake, I'm okay with them. Also, I with how many smart series power supplies in existence, you would think you would hear more about exploding PCs and house fires, but you really don't. Thermaltake is a huge no for me. I've been building PCs, and every time you choose, wow, so you have had bad experiences with Thermaltake power supplies, even the better models. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, let's get this thing out of the box. So, semi-modular, which I'm okay with because you're eventually going to have to plug in that 24-pin, the CPU, and the PCIe anyways. So, it's not the end of the world. But let me show you what is interesting about this power supply. So, they have incorporated, interesting, and this is, what is this? How did they attach this? They have incorporated straps on 3 of the 4 sides to help you with your cable management. And this is kind of actually, oh, I see how they did it. So I thought it was adhesive on. Okay, so we can actually, ooh, I don't know if I want to pull this out. But you guys see that? They actually, oh, I wonder how much more time it takes to assemble these now that they've added this. The fact that this power supply is still the same going price as similarly capacity 750 watts, similar, bronze C tier. The fact that it's not like that much more expensive, and I know for sure in the assembly process, this adds time and labor because you have to like thread this through. That's pretty cool. If you don't want to use these, you don't have to. You can just leave them, as is. But the point of these are so that you can. Oh, look, they've even. Oh man, I gotta show you this side. This is my first time seeing it too, because again, this just came out, and I did not see any coverage on this from like Computex. So they have this. Come on, I'm gonna take this Velcro out. They have, you see the side? There's actually a channel in the housing itself so that it can still sit flush when you route these cables sideways. So, okay. Power supplies, I mean, they're kind of boring. And I feel like aside from improving like the internal like components and making it either more efficient or more reliable, things like that, it feels like there hasn't been a ton of innovation. And I'm not going to say this is the most innovative thing in the world, but I'm not mad at them trying new things and just giving more value. And if you don't find value in it, just don't use these things. But if you can find value in it helping you organize better, then this is actually pretty cool to see. Because yeah, the power supply shape, aside from they're doing their, are they the ones with the edge? Like companies are trying to do like different ways of like connecting modular cables and stuff like that on the more high-end power supplies, right? So high-end power supplies, they have been getting more innovative improvements over the years. But when you look at the budget stuff, power supplies have looked for the most part the same for the longest time. They're just a square box with either things sticking out of it or they're semi-modular or something like that. I like this, honestly. And if these go on sale and are competitive with competing products from like Cooler Master and Thermaltake and MSI, then this would be an easy pickup. Is this modular? It is modular. So there are other cables like the SATA. Oh, yeah, so it is just the SATA and Molex. Is there Molex in here? Do they even include Molex? They do. So yeah, we do have the modular cables in here, SATA and Molex stuff. But for the stuff that they know that you're going to use, it's already included. And you have this which is rated for 450 watts. The new 12-pin connector right here, or 16-pin rather. But so it is ATX 3.1, not 3.0, because it's that new. And ATX 3.1, PCIe 5.1. So the newest standard, which I feel like, I mean, let me take a look. Are the budget power supplies, do a lot of them like have that? Like, I don't think the MSI one does. So we look at the like MSI Mag 650, right? So this is a budget unit that I've used. This is kind of like a newer offering from MSI. So again, it's around the same price. This one's 650 watt for $60, so it scales roughly based on the price. But this one, I mean, yeah, we've got the protections here and stuff, but yeah, like this one, I don't believe is PCIe 5.1 ready, right? So do they not? Why do they not show the connectors on the pictures? That's like one of the most important things. Maybe it's down here. Nope. Okay. But yeah, so this one you would have to like use an adapter. I've never had a mobile that required more than 8 pins. I mean, most of like the the overclockable motherboards from, you know, whether you use an Intel or AMD CPU, they have 2 8 pins. You don't always have to populate the second one. That's just if you want more power for it, for if you're doing like more overclocking or using like a more powerful chip. But most of those boards, you are okay with populating the primary one, whichever it is. My mobiles are 2 8-pin and PCIe powered motherboard. Yeah. What's the rating on which one? On the MSI one, or this one is also a C tier. My favorite part about old server PCs is knowing you got a sweet PSU. Yeah, I think some people, they just straight up buy from like what is it? Those HP office towers or old servers. People would just buy those power supplies because I think they're like decent internal components, high power capacity, and then just like cheap in the secondhand market on like eBay. I've even run just 4 pins instead of 8 as well. That's when you're talking about like the cheap, like bottom. Let me see if I can even find that. So we're looking at like a A320 motherboard. Let's see if we can find a quick one. Like this one. Yeah, you're talking about like the most entry level motherboards even go as low as just 4 pins for the motherboard. So yeah, the Shift series from Corsair, but what is the cheapest? We'll look at Newegg. Corsair Shift series. It's one of those things is like the power supply is not a glamorous product. You should invest in a good one for sure, but like, what is the cheapest Shift? Yeah, this one's not a Shift one. That one's 100, like 150 maybe. Image coming soon. I see the image down here. What the heck? The image is here, but why is it not here? Also, what? March 2024? What is this? Who has failed to put these images up by March 19th, 2024? Does anyone know if the new Cybernetics rating is legit, or is it mostly fluff compared to Cultist list? Cybernetics, the guy behind Cybernetics is the guy that the 2 tier lists that are popular right now, they base their information on his reviews. I don't know how to say his last name, Aorus, but let me see if I can. He is the man. This guy, Cybernetics, the guy behind Cybernetics and Hardware Busters. Aorus Vitsopoulos, however you say his last name. He is no the website is legit. EVJ isn't dead, but their active new product lineup is basically just power supplies and old stock motherboards. I mean, have they released a new power supply though? Like I think it's a Tech Power Up EVGA new power supply. Like, have they announced anything in 2025? Like the last thing I've seen EVGA introduces like 2021 announces. Like I couldn't find anything from like 2025 or I don't even think 2024 since EVGA has announced new products. Tech Power Up is usually pretty up to date with regards to the news of new releases. And yeah, I don't think I could find anything as of recent from EVGA. If I could say one thing to Micron, what would you say? I would say, how could you? Actually, I don't know what their revenue was. I don't know what that was between consumer space versus, data centers and businesses and all that. Like, at any point in time, have we as consumers ever brought them enough profit to like be competitive with what they sell to businesses and data centers and stuff like that? And was it like slowly shifting towards that direction when AI came about, or has it always been the case and they're just like, screw it, now we got to actually capitalize on it? But so I can't say if like we were a driving force of their success in the past. Like, would they have been just fine if they stopped their consumer-based products, years ago, before all this had happened? Because there are plenty of companies that pulled out of the consumer space, over the years, and people have not complained about it that much previously. It's just that how it lines up with the RAM shortage now, people are extra pissed. So jokingly, I would say, how could you? But I don't know how much we actually played a role in their success, right? Bro, I saw that. I was watching your stream after the fact, Jason. They sent you like the RAM and SSD. And it's so funny that it happened in such a short amount of time that's how crazy the news was that they were pulling out of the consumer space. That they were working within like a month or whatever, right? They sent you products ready to do a sponsorship. And it's like the person who was working the influencer connection side of things, they were even in the dark about it. So it was that abrupt, which is kind of wild. But hey, you got to keep some free SSD and RAM, right? Which is like pretty valuable right now. So yeah, that's kind of funny. Rule of thumb, never cheap out on your PSU, always get platinum. Okay. Platinum is just... So that's one thing. Okay, let me see. Is there anything else with regards to this? I mean, it's pretty basic. Let me put it in the system. Let's get it in the system. So, for the most part, this wasn't meant to be like an in-depth review or anything, because I was not going to build a full system. But let me get this in here. Just kind of get this situated. But regarding your comment about the rule of thumb, never cheap on your PSU, platinum has nothing to do with power supply quality. Though I do want to do an exercise where we go through the PSU tier list and see if there's any F tier or D or E tier power supplies that are platinum, because the efficiency is just how much of the power that you're pulling from the wall can get converted to usable power in your computer, and not lost to like heat or other inefficiencies. It does not have anything to really do with the quality of the power supply, though you are somewhat correct, because most companies who are designing very efficient power supplies are using quality components and building it on more modern platforms that you typically get higher quality power supplies. But as we just saw, if there's like a major flaw that is caught after the fact in independent testing, you could very well have an F tier power supply with platinum efficiency. So yeah, it used to be, in the past, before the tier list and reviews became more readily available, people used to kind of just pick the power supply based on the efficiency rating, which nowadays people are moving away from trusting 80 plus efficiency, and they're trusting like cybernetics ratings more. But yeah, people used to just be like, oh, we have a gold tier power supply, or not gold tier, but gold rated power supply. It's a good quality power supply, and that wasn't always true. Okay, let me. So we have the power supply in here. This, a lot of this can get, yeah. Even if I wanted to bundle everything down here, like a lot of the cables would go up here. But I'm just gonna bundle everything down here. Plenty of space to like put extra cables, hubs, all that stuff. And then back to the front side, we'll put the motherboard back in just to take a look. And I want to actually hold a graphics card next to it. So let me get this in here. And then let me go find myself any old long graphics card back here. Is this the biggest one I have? It might be. Oh, what's this one? Nope. Yeah, so this is a 7700 XT. I don't remember what the length is, but this is pretty, especially for, I don't think many budget builders are going to be, building with a card that much bigger than this. So, I mean, I'm sure there are cards longer than this, but this is pretty indicative of like a pretty big 3-fan card. This is a Power Color Hellhound 7700 XT. We put this in just to take a look at how, oh, and we can put it on that graphics card bracket. So it'll be like this with plenty of space. Let me get a, where's that ruler? So this card, if we measure it from the PCB, this is about, or not to the PCB to the end of the cooler. This is 305 millimeters. And then we have an additional, so 305. So this can fit 400 and I think about 400. Let's see if I'm correct on that measurement. Let's see what they have on the official product page. So we go to this. What is, oh, it says 420. Is it because they count the bracket that attaches to the case? If that's the case, then yeah, you get another 1.5 centimeters. So I guess it just depends on how you measure it, but yeah, so I guess if you're going based on the product pages of most graphics card manufacturers, and they include the PCI or the IO bracket, then 420 millimeters, 420, nice. That, I mean, not many people have cards longer than that, and it would take up to like the end of the case. So yeah, so with the card in, like, I can see it being slightly difficult, but this is going to be with all cases. If you populate the top with the radiator and fans, then yeah, you'll always have kind of a tighter squeeze right here. But let me see something real quick. Do they allow us to remove the top? They don't. It's rivet. Is it riveted in? Yeah, it's riveted, so we cannot. Because, you know, some manufacturers, you can just remove this whole top panel so that you could install the AIO or fans and then just remove the top to get your cables in if you didn't do it in the right order and then pop it back on. But this one, you would want to route your cables before installing the radiator and fans up top. But, yeah, let's see. What time is it? We are 1.5 hours into stream. Sorry. It took a while to get through looking at the case and the power supply. We had to order pizza and go off tangent like we always do. Let me look at the chat real quick because I feel like we've been focusing on the products this stream and not as much as of the chat. Okay, let me go back. Samsung not wanting to sell RAM to Samsung because it's not profitable anymore. Is that a thing? You talking about like Samsung not wanting to sell to like their own phone divisions or whatever? What products do they have that would use like memory except for phones? TVs maybe, because TVs have an internal computer, I guess. Is that what's going on with Samsung? It's kind of like they can't make enough RAM, or it's not as profitable to put it in their own products compared to selling it to the data centers and whatever AI companies. About 40% of DRAM, NAND, and VRAM is going to AI, a glorified chatbot. Yeah. Okay, we got a super chat. Happy. Oh, this is from Heavy Matter Technology. $10 super chat. Thank you. Happy holidays, everyone. Stay safe, stay warm. Remember, everyone here is wanted and cared for. Exactly. And I've been seeing a lot in the news lately. You know, like people passing away, kind of like unexpectedly. So, you know, call your loved ones, let them know that you love them, and all of that, because you never know. Unfortunately, the world that we live in, sometimes either you're taken away or they're taken away way too soon without warning. So I know that's kind of dark and grim, but just tell your loved ones that you love them. Hug them if you can. Call them if you haven't called them in a while. All that good stuff. Even I'm pretty bad at that. We're so like, you know, drowning, kind of taking care of the girls, and they're the focus of us right now. That we're trying our best to catch up with everybody as we can, but they're you know, when you have big families, big groups of friends and stuff like that, it's not always so easy. Did everyone get their free Epic game today? What is the free Epic game today? Free Epic Store game? What is the free one today? What is the free game list? Callisto Protocol today. Wait, what did they have recently? They had Jotun Slayer, Eternites, Bloody West, Paradise. I think of all these games, Callisto Protocol might be the only one that I have heard of. A lot of these other ones seem like smaller indie ones. But yeah, this is straight up a full-on... Is it considered a AAA title? Who made this? Developer, Striking Distance, Krafton. Okay, maybe it's not a like AAA title, but I think this was like considered a, you know, very modern, high graphics, difficult to run game. And isn't this the successor to Dead Space? And then they remade Dead Space, but I claim so many free games on Epic, but I never play them because I hate Epic. But I'm gonna go claim this right now. Let me open up my Epic launcher. I gotta log in. I always forget if I use my business email or my personal email on my Epic Game Store. I think I do use my... Huh. Okay, maybe I use my personal one. Let me try this one. Okay, yep, I use my personal email. But yeah, this is free right now. Let me... crap. Let me link it for you. For anyone who wants to pick up a free game. Where do they send me an email? A text? Epic. Oh, I have an authenticator attached to it. Okay. Okay, let me keep this a secret. I don't want people hacking into my Epic games and stealing my very little amount of Fortnite skins I have. I think I bought one skin ever on Fortnite. And of course, that had to be Dragon Ball Z. I got the Goku skin. Even though I do not play Fortnite at all, except to test. But thanks for bringing this up. Yeah, always check it out. I wonder if there's people out there who like they just made a bunch of emails to like make a ton of Epic accounts and they're accruing all these free games and then like selling them on eBay or something just for like, it takes no money to do. You could probably write a script for it. But then over the years, you get these accounts with like hundreds of games on it and you could like sell it to someone for, I don't know, $50 or something. Like for the whole library of free games. Like GTA 5 was on Epic for free at one point in time. So people who claim that, that's a kind of valuable account. So yeah, I was right. It was the Dead Space guys. Yeah, I thought I remembered that. I just don't remember if it was when it released, if they were saying this was basically going to be like the sequel or spiritual successor to Dead Space, because then they eventually, the newest Dead Space that has been released, was that just a remaster or is that the next part of like the series of the Dead Space games? Hogwarts Legacy requires 32 gigs of RAM to run good? Really? Is that true? I've run it on systems previously. I don't test Hogwarts Legacy anymore. I kind of hate it. It's so annoying. Like it always wants to compile shaders, and it's kind of poorly optimized. So I don't know how many people are still playing it nowadays. So I've taken it out of my benchmarking rotation a long time ago. I repurchased the free games I got on Epic on Steam. That's how much I dislike Epic Client. Yeah. It kind of sucks, right? Because I have like for Assassin's Creed, because I got it through like the free promo graphics card purchase thing. I got it on the Ubisoft Connect thing client. And like every time Assassin's Creed titles come popping up on Steam, I'm like, oh my god, I should just buy it on Steam so that I never have to log into Ubisoft Connect again. But I'm so cheap, so I do log in every time for Assassin's Creed to the Ubisoft client. Indie Client also ordered Domino's because of me. Domino's, where's my sponsorship at? I'm having influence on people, or at least affecting their decisions for dinner. I wonder how many people also order Domino's when they watch LAN party stories. I've had people leave comments saying, oh my god, I want Domino's now, or I ordered Domino's at the same time. So, Domino's, if you want to hit me up with a sponsorship, I've been on the Domino's train for like a decade now. It is a genuine sponsorship if you guys sponsor me. Pizza check. I don't know if the pizza... Here, let me see. Let me go check the living room camera. See if they're eating pizza right now. Without me. I don't smell pizza. What if they did not go and get pizza yet because I did not tell them that it was ready? Let me check. Oh no, they went and got the pizza 10 minutes ago. So pizza is upstairs. I gotta show the bottom of the pizza to show Jason that there's no dust. Yeah, I'm pretty sure plenty of people played Hogwarts Legacy. It's one of those games where if you have more RAM, the game will irresponsibly like allocate all of it. But if you have 16 gigabytes of RAM, it's not like it's going to be a freezing stutter fest. You might get some improved FPS, but I don't think like 16 gigs is unplayable for Hogwarts Legacy, if I remember correctly. I played it fine, honestly, when it was released, and I have only 16. Yeah, you guys, you gotta remember, just because a graphics card or your PC uses a ton of VRAM or just normal system memory, it does not mean if you had less, it's all of a sudden unusable. It's on a case-by-case basis, depending on how crappy the developer is, right? And sometimes it just scales. If you have more, it'll think, oh, sweet, we'll allocate more. But it doesn't necessarily mean if you have less, it's unplayable. What's wrong with Epic? It's just kind of annoying. Like, I don't know. When I navigating through the menus, finding your library of games, it just seems so inefficient. And maybe it's because we're so trained over the years on Steam that anything else, it's kind of like having to use something that you don't use on a daily basis or are familiar with. It works, but you might have to click a few extra things, or it takes a second to find, the game as fast and stuff. There's nothing actually wrong with Epic. It's just all of us, for some reason, Steam is the one company we're okay with there being a monopoly. Everything else, people complain about it, or they say it's a horrible thing. But for some reason, we all love Steam so much that we don't even want to give other launchers a chance. And I know a lot of people are going to say it's because all the other launchers suck. But that doesn't matter. You would still want to root for them and give them feedback and all that stuff, right? I feel like even when AMD was sucking more and having driver issues, people were still giving AMD a chance. Back, years ago, before they got to the position they're in now. I had Jersey Mike's. That's Melissa's favorite thing. She loves Jersey Mike's. And what's the other one? Firehouse Subs. She just loves sandwiches. And I'm just like, bro, these are just basic cold cut sandwiches. Why can't we just buy some hoagies and our own meat and veggies and make it ourselves? It's not even that difficult. And we can save so much money. But I don't know. These companies are successful because of something. Maybe they put some crack in the meat or something, or the cheese. There is something, though, about eating a sandwich that somebody else made for you versus one that you made. Even when I eat a sandwich that Melissa made for me, it tastes better than the sandwich I made for myself, even if it's the same ingredients. Something about not having to make your own sandwich adds to the taste. I got a Domino's ad on YouTube just now too. Dude, they're scanning the streams. Backing the bottom for dust-free pizza. I'm gonna grab the whole box and bring it down here, and we're gonna show it. If Steam used the opportunity to do something crazy like raise prices, people would get mad, but they haven't. So people will get mad, but are they realistically gonna hop over to any of the other clients? No, they're not. It's like all the people who complain about everything that was put into WoW, like classic WoW being ruined by cash shop stuff, paid level boosts, cosmetics in the shop, and there's still, millions of subscribers to WoW. People are going to complain about it. They're not going to want it, but they're still going to use it or play it. Valve seems like a legit company. You can say that about Valve too, because they are not publicly traded. So they don't have shareholders to please, I guess. And they make so much money just because the most money they make is from cuts, right? It's not from the hardware they sell. It's not from the actual games that they produce, because they only have a handful of titles. Half-Life 3 never coming. But just them taking the cut off of every other game sale and having that monopoly, they're rolling in the dough. They don't have to manufacture or produce anything. Everything of them is just server space and keeping track of databases of names, accounts, game keys, and stuff. It's all imaginary in the ether. There's nothing physically tangible about the majority of money they make. Yes, when food is free and prepared for you, it tastes better for some reason. I mean, it's not free when you buy the ingredients, but okay. We're gonna go I'm gonna grab the pizza and we're gonna have a slice on stream. Give me one chance. And I'm gonna be quick enough so that I don't have time to vacuum or blow off the dust. I will show you the pizza as is untouched. I'm pretty sure they might have grabbed one of my slices, but you know I'm getting back. I'll be right back. I only took so long because I had to wash my hands. I didn't want to be touching the pizza that other people are going to be eating after touching computer parts and touching my, peripherals and whatever. But they haven't even gotten into the pizza yet. Okay. We don't know what this pizza is going to look like. Domino's, do not fail. Do not make me look bad in front of the stream. For the most part, most of the time I get Domino's, I would say, like, I've only had probably a couple of times where the pizza was like, okay, what the hell was the person who put this together? What were they thinking? But it just the way it works when you're showing it to an audience, there might be something wrong. But we're gonna take a look at the pizza. All right. Oh, it's got one giant puff. All right. When we say this is a pretty good looking pizza. It does have a giant puff thing. Do people like the giant puff or nah? Let me get a closer shot of it. Do people like it when the dough or the cheese kind of like has a giant bubble? But otherwise, pretty even spread. Once this is made to short, the sponsorship will come. Yeah. Okay, but look, pretty even spread of ingredients. The cuts are nice, evenly cut into 8 slices. No asymmetrical, slices. Okay, we're gonna lift. How can I do this without knocking over a lot? We're gonna lift the bottom. See what there? Look at the actual cardboard down here. I'm trying to shake off. There is no dust. So Texas Domino's, for some reason, people in Texas apparently don't know the appropriate amount of cornmeal to put on the bottom of a pizza, because that's Jason's biggest complaint about Domino's. Where I just showed you the Pacific Northwest version of Domino's, and I'll show this side too. Like, look, there is. I will get you a close-up shot. There's no dust. I mean, there's some on the pizza side of it, because that's how they get it non-stick. But it's not like it's sand everywhere. But all right, we gotta have a slice. We gotta have a slice on stream, because I am actually pretty hungry. I also got to end the stream in the next, 10 minutes or so, because we are coming up on 7 p.m. So, we're going to have a slice. Sorry if I'm making some of you guys hungry. But, man, this whole pizza for $6.99 plus tax. No tip, no delivery. Every bite you take, you have to shake your hands off. Every bite. In Texas, maybe. Cornmeal is peak for sure. Facts, Nob. I mean, I don't particularly like or dislike. I just understand that the cornmeal is there for a reason. Right? But he says there's literally... Is Jason crazy, chat? Was there dust all over the pizza? Or is Jason, is he blind? I think he might be blind. Even look at this slice. So, I'm going to give you a close-up shot. That's not dust. That's just, micro bubbles. Look at that. I wish I had a piece that had more cornmeal. I don't know, man. I'm not seeing the dust there. There's nothing coming off onto the napkin. This is just the crust. You could see the dust on his fingers. I mean, that's just crust. That's just the crust. I swear I get that when I eat Pizza Hut too. When you're handling the crust, because they put seasoning and salt and garlic and stuff like that. I don't know, man. You have dust blinders syndrome. Look at your fingers. Am I gonna have to order Pizza Hut next time? Hold a slice of Pizza Hut pizza and then show you that you get the same amount of stuff on your fingers. Come on, focus. Wait, does Pizza Hut use 0 cornmeal? Wait, is cornmeal used for the non-stick factor of it? And if so, how does Pizza Hut get non-stick? I know it's not dust. We're just calling it dust because that's what Jason calls it. We're calling the cornmeal dust. Yes, yes, yes. That's just the terminology we use. Bro looks like he just ate a bag of Cheetos. Touch your camera lens? No way. Cornmeal is dust, yes. LMAO. It used to make it not stick. Not a big deal. I feel like the complaint about using cornmeal for that is like saying when you get eggs at your diner, or even when you cook eggs at home and you're just like, oh my god, look at all that oil or butter that you use, you know, to make the eggs not stick to whatever pan you're using, unless you use non-stick, but then you get microplastics or Teflon. That's like the same complaint. Like, oh my god, why is there oil on whatever the heck that you just cooked because, you know, you wanted it to crisp around the edges more and make it non-stick. Like, cornmeal is an edible substance. Pizza Hut crust is just greasy, but it's so good. Fast food pizza is just so oily. I don't know. I feel like some of the higher end pizza places that I've gone to, it depends on what you put on the toppings, right? Because all cheeses and all meats are going to have some grease exude from it when you bake it. Like going to nicer pizza restaurants, like I've also had, I guess maybe if they use mozzarella, I feel like, and like, you know, if you put your standard pepperonis and sausages and bacon or whatever the heck meat's on there, you're going to get grease on it. When you use maybe some of the other cheeses and like a veggie pizza or what is it, a Sicilian pizza or something like that, maybe it'll be less greasy. But if you're stacking it with meats and cheeses, those are just like naturally greasy items. This is literally greasy. I mean, it is. Pizza Hut's classic pan pizza crust traditionally uses yellow cornmeal mixed into the dough for its signature texture. But their other crusts, like thin and crispy, use flour with cornstarch. And I wonder, because this is the pan or hand tossed pizza, I wonder if the Domino's pan one or the thin one does not use cornmeal. I like the hand toss because if you can, I'm not sure if you can really see it, but they like butter their crust and put like a little bit of garlic seasoning and stuff so that their crusts are actually, their baseline Domino's crust blows Pizza Hut's baseline crust out of the water. Because Pizza Hut's crust is just plain as hell. I just want to toss that thing in the garbage. Or I have to dip it in something because it's that plain. But AMD needs to enable FSR on all cards. AMD has FSR on a lot of cards. Don't they? Wait. I swear when I tested the 270X, which by this point is like 10 years old, I swear I was able to enable FSR. Maybe not the newest FSR, but some version of FSR, usually, like the earlier variants. And to me, that is already a win. If it's like a hardware level thing that's required, I'm not gonna blame them. So long as there's some way of making older hardware still, you know, last a little bit longer. But like an RX 580 or something, being able to have some level of FSR being turned on, I think that's already a win. No, say you got the pizzas delivered, how much would you tip? I usually just tip a gallon of gas, lol. How much do I tip? I think like 10 or 15%. This order, what, 10% would be $3, so maybe like $4 or $5 on a $33 order. Well, it's $33 after tax. It was $29 before tax. You don't tip based on the tax. Or I wouldn't. But yeah. I give 10% on all deliveries, 15-20% sit down. Am I crazy in thinking that around, remember like 20 years ago, I could have sworn when I was younger, like in high school age and like early college, I thought the standard tipping practice was 10%. How have we gotten to the point where tipping is now like some default screens are going to like 20, 22, 25%? Do you guys like stuffed crust? It's like too rich. I'm okay with it. But I like the crust so much that I would rather save the $4 and put that towards another whole pizza almost. You can get 2 stuffed crust pizzas or 3 regular pizzas. And getting that whole extra pizza is more value. I tip on quality of service and taste of the food. I like it when you buy a Starbucks coffee and they just hand you a coffee. Some of those fancy Starbucks drinks that are like $6-7, and then you're kind of like when you tip on $7, 10% of $7 is like 70 cents, right? That just feels like it's so weird. So I think a lot of people get guilt tripped into tipping at least $2 to $3. So then you just spent like $10 for a cup of, not a cup of coffee. People usually get the fancier drinks with like ice sometimes, or, you know, peppermint pumped in. I don't know, whatever the hell. I don't drink coffee. I don't order from Starbucks. But, you know, people have their little fancy drinks and the seasonal drinks and stuff. But to me, spending $10 on a drink like that, kind of crazy. And I am a bubble tea enjoyer, so I know, like, the idea of spending $6 to $7 on, like, a bubble tea drink is already kind of ridiculous. But even spending more on top of that. I live 10 miles from town, so I tip $10 for any delivery. I mean, that's a good way to look at it, because yeah, people are going out of their way. But the anti-tippers, I'm not an anti-tipper by any means, but I do sway towards, like, I think a lot before I tip, like, just based on what I'm doing, what service, like, am I just picking up and stuff. But if I did live far away and, you know, it's kind of a trek out there, then yeah, I would tip more. So you're being very considerate, JT Bivens. I'm 51%. The percent of tipping has increased. Oh, you are 51 years old. The percentage of tipping has increased. I'm in Chicago too, where tipping is very common. Here's a work tip: always pay cash so you don't get scammed into feeling bad no tipping. Who carries cash though? I don't understand how not tipping makes you an asshole, but not the employer who isn't paying a good wage outright. Just another excuse for rich people. Yeah, to get away with murder and make the poorest fight. Yeah. But again, Jason, have you seen those Reddit threads of people saying we should fight for fair wages? And there are people in the service industry actively not wanting that for themselves. Like I said earlier, there are people who actively want to keep this tipping culture because they know if they're working at the right place, they can make out or like get out ahead. But X-Backdoor needed replacement RAM, and Patriot is actually going to send me a replacement. Nice. Congrats. I'm guessing DDR4, maybe DDR5, but nice. Guys, the RAM still exists. The fact that we can go onto Amazon and Newegg and find these kits of RAM for ridiculous prices means that they are sitting on the shelves or in warehouses or in inventory, readily available to buy. So it's not like there's no RAM in existence. It's just the market has shifted based on the demand and the supply. But it does make sense that companies are still able to give you replacements because they're not moving these kits that they have now upcharged by 300%. So I'll tip maybe $5 to $10 at a casual restaurant. I don't use food delivery. So you do by amount and not percentage. The delivery people are supposed to be getting paid a regular wage, at least within Canada. I tip them a bit just to help out. Yeah. Anti-tipping is crazy, honestly. I don't think a lot of people are straight up anti-tipping, but I think they're kind of in the middle and on a case-by-case basis. I make boba at home. It gets costly. Yeah, takeout boba is stupid expensive, and I love boba. So we don't get it that often. Making it at home, though, you gotta boil the boba because that's a big part of it. And then you have to find either make the tea or do the tea from scratch or buy the powdered mix. And yeah, it's also one of those things where it definitely, unless you really perfect it, it tastes better just getting it out, obviously, because it's more convenient. I'm definitely anti-tipping for normal jobs. You didn't serve me, you got a cup of coffee. If I'm at someone else's house, I don't tip. What about tipping Uber Eats drivers? Like they literally just grab the food, drive, and hand it to you. Yeah, I mean, look, I do tip because of this crappy system that we have, but at the same time, I'm gonna complain about it and push for like a change in the system so that people get paid a fair wage. Like people should not, after putting in like a week's worth of 40 to 60 hours of work, they should not be coming out like average less than minimum wage. Like there need to be protections for that. Because these companies, actually, I don't know. I don't remember if I watched like a podcast or something. Aren't all these delivery services like and Uber, not just Uber Eats, but like Uber, aren't they all just like losing a ton of cash? I don't know if they're actually profitable. I thought I watched something recently that said that basically all those companies are kind of failing. they're not like super profitable. So I don't know, maybe they're just gonna disappear at some point and it's gonna be done automated by Waymo or whatever the heck, auto driving cars and stuff. Yeah. But then that means you're eliminating jobs in the form of robots and automation. So look, it's a complicated topic. Us here sitting in the stream is not going to solve it just because, there are people who live and breathe this stuff and are actually went to school and are professionally trained in it. We just kind of poke holes from the side and complain. I was getting boba every day in Taiwan. Large size was like $1 each time. In Thailand, I don't remember it being as cheap as $1 when we went to Thailand and Vietnam. But it was like $3 or $4, which was cheap enough for me to drink it like every day. I really don't care about tipping a person as a cashier. Yeah, every worker deserves a living wage. The job itself shouldn't dictate does it deserve a tip. Yeah, and you know what's funny? So much of the rest of the world is already on board with that mindset. Somehow in the U.S., I don't know what happened at what point in time, where it just was like this thing where the amount of money you actually paid at a restaurant is variable based on that. Like, it would be nice to expect the price. I'm of the camp of increase all your menu prices. Increase your menu prices because the people who tip are making up for the people who are cheap and don't tip. And at the end of the day, the workers getting the average of the tippers and non-tippers, they're going to get what they get. But the people who don't tip are kind of like taking advantage of the system and everyone else is kind of carrying their weight. So I would rather have all the menu prices increased by that 10 or 15% so that everyone who goes in is paying the same price for the food so that the other cheap people aren't getting away with not tipping while I'm tipping and covering for them, if that makes sense, right? Increase the prices. That is equivalent to everyone equally tipping. But then again, you could complain that food's already expensive, so increasing the prices is not the solution. And companies just need to take less of a profit. And CEOs and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm just tired of hearing about you're an a-hole for not tipping, blah, blah, blah. Let's stop putting the blame. Yeah, I agree with that. And it's, dude, every time this comes up on like a Reddit post, like there is arguments. It is really hard to convince the people who are pro tipping to our side, where it's not that we're anti-tipping, it's we are anti-tipping in lieu of fair wages. It's almost like as bad as politics. Like people are gonna think the way that they think. They're not gonna change their mind about it, and they get very passionate about it. What up, HDZ? Yes, we are gonna end stream soon. So it is already Christmas for some people. I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, and then potentially, I'm not gonna say Happy New Year because I will potentially see you all on New Year's Eve. Maybe we'll do an earlier stream just so I'm not pushing too close to the end of the night for New Year celebration, whatever that is. We don't go out to parties or anything on New Year's Eve. We got 2 baby girls. We're probably gonna sit home and watch the little thing drop from the Space Needle on our local news. But yeah, they aren't pro tipping. They are pro helping people out. But I think we should help them out by having employers pay them. Look, Jason. I don't know who is in charge of that legislation with regards to wages to workers and tipping and all that, but we should put you in charge of that. I was going to say we should just make you the president of the United States, but I think that's a little bit much. We should just put you in charge of whatever it takes, the charge to change the tipping culture in the United States. Later, Observer of Thoughts. I won't pardon you for your crimes. You need to pay. No, please, Jason. Yeah, not long ago, I think it was DoorDash, but a driver sprayed the food with pepper spray. She got caught on camera. Yeah, and then there's people who eat the food. There's people who spit in the food. There's people who do those. There's people who sit with the food hoping that the buyer cancels it so then they can eat it. I think, Jason, you've complained about that on Discord before, right? Or was that Dewey? Oh, somebody. But, yeah. And they expect a tip? Jason would probably ban Domino's from the whole earth, or he'll put some kind of unfair tax on Domino's just because he's going to give an unfair advantage to Pizza Hut and every other pizza place just to bring down Domino's. Nah, Jason can't be president. You want me as president, says Mag. That happens now. You pay, you get the pardon. Yeah. Has anyone looked at the redacted files, copied and pasted into a text document and just seen the unredactions? I haven't tried it myself, but I've seen a lot of videos of people showing how easy it is, and I wonder how long until they patch that up. But anyways, we're not going to get into that. All right, guys. Thanks for the fun stream. Yeah. Hope you guys have a good Christmas. Stay safe out there, and I will see you in the Discord server, the comments of the latest videos, the latest shorts, and next week's stream, hopefully. I will put out an earlier notification for that one, too, if it happens. But yeah, take care, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.